right.
Welcome to the right side.
How are you?
Hello.
Hey.
We're doing a show today.
Y'all and your chairs are
What's
way
wrong?
off.
What?
We've only been sitting here for like
There you go.
minutes,
Hey.
hours.
Did
and
you
didn't-
point and I was putting my earbud in?
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? Good
Does
morning.
Does it look angled weird to you?
Yeah, we look like we're on a downslope.
What is our problem?
We have so many.
I think it's the teleprompter problem.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we have a makeshift teleprompter. Every time we do it, we have to
Don't tell all of our things.
Yeah, we lose our mystery.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
like getting up to start the show yesterday and
Y'all. I don't know. I really do want to apologize for yesterday. I don't know if I had too much caffeine or too little, but I was an absolute disaster.
No, you were not.
No, I was. I was especially extra. And I just want to apologize to Attorney General Steve Marshall because I was literally like a 5-year-old. I thought it would just be figuratively. We would ask questions. And sometimes I forget I have to be professional.
I didn't
Today, I'm gonna be
notice
so
at all.
professional.
And I thought it was great. I have to show you a picture, Allison. Speaking of being extra professional, we have a great show for you. This is the right side, by the way. I'm Amy Beth. She's Allison. He's JP. We're getting ready to have Morgan Murphy on the show. And then in the 11 o'clock hour, we're going to have K. Carl Smith. You probably remember him as of late. He's written a new book called Douglas and Marx, but he's started the group years ago called Frederick Douglass Republicans. He's an amazing speaker and writer. We're excited to have him on. We'll start off talking about redistricting, but then we'll also end up talking about his book because it is very timely. There you go. Oh, and it's
That's good.
Wednesday. Hot
flash
news.
Flashing hot news.
Look at what I came home to this morning. That was in my
Aw.
dog's mouth.
That's like an old school box turtle.
That girl right there.
Oh, she
had-
was so proud of that.
She was so proud. She was like, "What do you mean, Mom? See,
Oh, cute. It's
And-
kind of whittle.
it's a little turtle." Anyway, so I took one dog to get his self. Is it spayed? Dogs,
Neutered.
men are
Chopped
neutered.
and popped. What was it? What was it that?
Oh, popped and chopped.
Popped and
Stop.
That's
No.
what our friend. Hey,
Yeah,
Mr. Friend.
Yeah, we used to have a vet that would call the show, and he said we're popping and chopping,
That's-
chopping and.
I
Yeah.
think he said popping and chopping, chopping and popping.
Well, that's what's happened.
Anyway,
JP.
I'm sorry, JP, but he was great. I hope he'll find us and call us. I did want to let one of our other listeners know that although one of my black chickens bit the dust yesterday, Randelia lives on. And that's why my dog is getting chopped and popped.
Oh gosh, poor guy.
Yeah.
No, there's no pour about him. He splayed across my lap on the way to the vet. Like, he weighs at least 130 pounds. I couldn't drive. He was knocking my little gear thingy into neutral. And I'm like, what do I do? I
Sounds
called
like
my
a
husband in a
safety hazard.
panic. He was like, you need to calm down. And I was like, I can't calm down. He was like, you got to calm down. So I calmed down. And now I'm here.
Well, I would offer you a rooster, but finally, I think the rooster at my apartments have left, and I think everybody should thank me at my apartments, right? Because I think I'm the reason he
Did you
left.
chase it?
No,
What'd you
because
What'd you do?
Saturday night or early Sunday morning at like 5:30. So this was like the second or third day in a row. I woke up at sunrise to him screaming, crowing right outside my apartment.
Do you care to give us an example? What does he sound like? That's good.
Like over and
That is
over
actually really good.
and over. And it was 5:30 Saturday morning, and I was like, he was literally like right outside my window. It sounded like I was like, somebody's got to do something. This is getting out of control. And there was a big like stadium Alabama football cup full of water by my bed. And I walked out and I went on my patio, and he was standing in the little grassy area. I'm on the third floor. So I was about 40 feet above him, and he was in like the little area or in the middle of our apartments. And he was in the middle of his like, and I got the water and I threw it in the air at him. And he's standing there and he goes, and he looked up and saw the water coming and bolted and ran away. And
Aw, that was effective.
ever since he's been gone. So
Maybe he'll end up at that garden shop sort of kind of near your house and live there.
But
you know?
the lady below me that he kept hanging out by, I heard her outside my door talking to one of my neighbors about him. She was like, I think he's wild. I think he came out of the woods, but I was feeding him bread yesterday. And,
gosh.
and I was
Oh,
like,
gosh.
that's why he's hanging out here.
Such a woman.
Blessed lady.
But he's gone.
He gone.
He out.
Did he have a solid crow or was it like a
Like a
It was
puberty
a-
crow?
that was a
I-
man.
I felt like
rooster.
that was great.
No, that was
was good.
good.
That was
but-
really good.
Okay.
When
Like
they're
that?
going through
Yeah.
puberty, it's like
No.
It's like your son
it's so bad.
when
It really
they're
is.
11.
There was
So he was a full on rooster.
yeah.
It was a male. Real quick, like though,
Unlike Bear.
unlike Bear,
It's
thank
about to be.
God, maybe it'll make him less apt to headbutt my chicken coop. That's the story for another day. You had a sombrero on last night.
I did. Okay, so
What happened was
what had happened was my birthday is on May 3rd,
Mhm.
which is always, it's close. It's like the 3rd, 4th, and then Cinco de Mayo. And so sometimes birthday days turn into birthday weeks. And last night we went to celebrate my birthday, but also Cinco de Mayo. And there's this Mexican restaurant we always go to, and they bring out the sombrero. But what was funny,
Wait, which one do you go to?
the one in Brook Island.
Okay.
So they brought out the sombrero. They've never done this before. They brought me a tequila shot.
No, they did not.
And it was the most disgusting. I don't drink a lot, and I definitely don't do shots. It was the most, because there was such pressure. I gave into peer pressure.
You just like slug it
of the
back.
whole table. Yeah, I got a video of it.
Ugh.
Anyway, I had my sombrero, but they forgot about the sombrero. And as I got up, I wore it for like an hour, totally forgot I had it on, and got up to leave, and they had to chase me out the door because I almost
I
took off
lady.
with the sombrero. It
I-
was packed.
I hear
Like,
that place is delish.
but why do Americans celebrate Mexicans' independence so fiercely?
It's
It's
an
a reason
excuse
to
to drink.
That's a reason to drink.
We almost had
Oh.
a red rum moment.
It's the reason for Southern rednecks to drink.
Yeah. It's a party. We'll party for any reason at all.
It's not even the real Independence Day either.
It's not?
No,
That's not their July 4th?
no. It's in September. Cinco de Mayo was a battle.
The battle
Did
of
they
Cinco
defeat
de Mayo.
Spain?
Cinco de Mayo is an annual celebration commemorating the Mexican army's unlikely victory over French forces at the Battle of Puebla.
It's not even their Independence Day or from a Spanish War
No,
battle.
Mexican Independence Day is September 16th.
Oh, wow. The day before my son's birthday. All right.
So we don't
Great.
even know what we're drinking to.
You're just drinking
No,
a
we're
drink.
I just went for the
Partying.
queso.
That boy,
That's
queso is,
valid.
is so good. And Chris has been sick, and I had to eat my own little bowl of Mexican food by myself.
That's so sad.
It
I
was
should have invited
pathetic.
y'all.
I-
Why didn't I invite y'all?
I don't know. I would have been there lickety split.
It-
It's okay.
Now I have guilt.
I will not turn down drinking in queso. Just
Guys,
moving forward.
Well, just understand
You
that
drink queso?
the
No, no,
drinking,
drinking and queso.
Allison and I talk about is kind of like a figurative drinking. We're not like, if we could have this is not appropriate, but like a kitty cup size of a beverage, that's our size. Because I noticed when we've had 2 French 75s and we both never finish our
Don't
drink.
finish it.
It's just the idea,
Yeah.
because it means that you're in a moment of relaxation, and that's not what we've done a lot of for the last couple of months,
Years.
really.
Until they bring you no salt, no lime, no nothing. Just a straight up shot of tequila. And then you've got your family. There's nothing worse than family pressure. And they're all like, do it. Do it. Did it.
Good.
Anyway.
Uh,
What
you
did
looked
y'all-
cute with your
so
sombrero on.
You ate a bowl of rice. What did you do?
Chicken, beans, and rice with some guac on it. My daughter didn't even wake up to eat with me. She's still recovering from her freshman year of college.
It's a
And
whole
not
thing.
in a bad way, but it is a whole thing. And I was by myself, and I'm like, wow, this is sad. JP,
I had Chipotle at about 5 or 6.
Oh, good for you.
And then at about 9 o'clock, I got hungry again. So I went out and I made 2 stops. I went to Whataburger to get a milkshake, and then I went to Cane's.
can you imagine having a 23-year-old metabolism?
Because I was like,
so
I don't really want a
irritating.
burger, but I really want a milkshake. So I got a banana pudding milkshake at Whataburger.
Oh my gosh.
Drove to
I'm going to
Cane's,
throw up.
got a box.
Have you seen, and I know we're about to go to Morgan Murphy and have a fabulous interview, but
Is
have
he
you
on?
seen the
Yes.
moms with the ice cream cones from McDonald's? They dump it in a big 9x13 plastic tub, then they mash it up, and then they put sprinkles, and then on top they add warm, melty cookies from McDonald's, all from McDonald's,
Sounds
but to
amazing.
create a Sunday bowl, essentially. I feel like we should do that. We'll do that.
Okay.
Sister here won't.
Oh, I want to do that, but it makes my tummy hurt.
Well, it makes my
Like,
tummy hurt too, but it's
JP,
fine.
did you sleep okay? Did you throw up? Did you?
Nah, I slept fine. I slept rather
Great.
good, actually.
Okay.
Great.
You're so young.
Bless your
I
heart.
just went and got a banana pudding shake and a box of fries and chicken fingers
I know.
fried.
Remind me
After
of my
eating a
son-in-law.
Chipotle burrito
Yeah. Okay.
about a couple hours earlier.
It's all right. Well, that must be nice.
I think we need to ask Morgan Murphy what he did for Cinco de Mayo.
I think we should.
If I know Morgan, he was like typing, researching all the maps of the world.
Were you?
No, I actually went to Taco Mama and had a bucket of tequila. So it was great. I was with you, Allison, in spirit. In spirits, I
Well,
should say.
Yeah. I didn't mean to. It sounds like you did. I do love some Taco Mama queso. That was a
Boy,
good
it's
choice.
good.
I'm just in it for the salt on the rim. I don't really drink that much, but I really like the salt. We're saltaholics in my family. Salt is one of my four Southern food groups. You know, it's bourbon, salt, bacon, and pie. It's
I like that you have your priorities in
essential.
order.
I know. I call it. You know, I think the Maha movement is after me, but I call it the food trapezoid.
You know what?
You know your shapes too.
Yes,
It's
please.
impressive.
I do.
Yeah.
I try.
All this, this is one of my little Maha tidbits. We're supposed to be taking in more salt for your hydration, so keep it up. I
Did you
think
know you're
maybe
supposed
the tequila, like leave it
Yeah,
out.
it's
but
good.
just, like,
That's good.
salt.
You know, we're
just-
supposed to put salt in our coffee. Did you guys know
Okay,
that?
Now
Yeah.
you know the shark.
Like
Yeah.
big salt crystals in when you are brewing your coffee, put it in there, and somehow it's supposed to be great. I don't know.
My grandparents were from Andalusia, both sides, and my grandfather would always salt his cantaloupe or his watermelon. Do your folks ever do that?
My husband's family all salt. They salt everything.
Y'all are so southern.
Salt it like a road. That's what we do.
I
That's
see a
funny.
little truck going by.
My grandfather did that in Ohio. That's funny. That is really funny. Okay.
We'll be serious now.
All right.
Reading.
This is a serious topic.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask a very serious way. What the hell county is going on with our maps? And why should we care?
Well, Alabama has a once in a lifetime opportunity to help the MAGA movement. And everybody who believes in making America great again and everyone who really believes in conservative values should want Alabama to send 7 congressmen to DC as Republicans. And we have that choice. This state is one of the most conservative states in the nation. We voted for Donald Trump by 65%. There is no blue state in the nation that voted for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden by that percentage. And yet plenty of blue states who are a lot less blue than we are red send 100% of their congressional delegation to Congress as Democrats. We have been constrained by a racist gerrymandering that looked like a Rorschach test or a Jackson Pollock painting to get 2 Democrats to Congress. And the Supreme Court ruled just last week under Calais that is unconstitutional. Gerrymandering on politics is fine. That's in the Constitution. You can gerrymander the heck out of people with certain political beliefs, but you cannot gerrymander people based on race. And with that comes an opportunity for Alabama and a whole host of southern states to send more Republicans to Congress, like our friends in the Northeast have done. So the Northeast has, despite having up to 40% Republicans in places like New Hampshire and Vermont and Maine and Connecticut, don't send any don't send any Republicans to DC in their federal delegation. So Democrats have done this for years. They've gerrymandered the Hale County out of California and Illinois. I mean, the 52 representatives in California, I think we're down to just a handful of Republicans, and they're trying to gerrymander that even more. So this is an opportunity for Republicans to do exactly what Democrats have done for decades. And it's now on the Alabama legislature to step up and do the right thing.
Do you really think we'll be able to get a 7-0 map, or will it be 6-1?
Well, that's contingent on a couple of things. The first step, and I wrote an op-ed with Senator Tommy Tuberville that appeared in 1819 and also on Fox National about what the steps are to getting to a 7-0 map. So the first step is to get out from under an injunction that we got in Allen versus Milligan through three federal judges here in Birmingham ruled that our 2023 map was violated the rules in the Voting Rights Act of 1965. So we've got to get out of that injunction first. And once we're out of that injunction, then the legislature is free. If they vacate that injunction, which really froze our map until 2030, if they vacate that, the legislature and the governor are free to redistrict all 7 districts. And that's what we need to do. There's talk coming out of Montgomery. I'm sure you've heard the chatter. You know, we went into this special session here this week on Monday, and I've heard the rumors, I'm sure you have, that they're looking at a 6-1 map. They're looking at going back to the old map. And that's like shooting yourself twice. Like, why go through the pain of redistricting now in 2026 and then having to do it again next year? You're just going to cause twice the pain in doing that. And plus, the old map is also unconstitutional. So the old map was racially gerrymandered. So why would you go back to a map that's faulty in the first place? Just draw a new map. And if we get out from under the injunction, the legislature should be able to do that.
Okay. Yes, several things have to fall into line. I'm curious, and I did some research on for the legislature, if they have 2/3 of a vote, they can take up matters that weren't explicitly in the governor's proclamation, which I would think if they wanted to draw a new map, the legislature would have to have a 2/3 vote to do that. Within this special session, they have 30 calendar days and 12 working days to get that done. Your understanding, because I know you are heavily invested in this from, dropping out of the U.S. Senate race, and I know that there's a 7th congressional district that you would like to run in as well. If we got a 7-0 map, do you think, and are you hearing, is that possible? Could we get all the steps that need to be done if Montgomery had the guts to do it in this special session? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And you know what will give people intestinal fortitude is watching what happened in Indiana last night. So if you watch what happened in Indiana yesterday, those that went against President Trump just got wiped out. And, there's been a lot of talk about, the Trump endorsement doesn't mean that much. Oh, yes, it does. It means a lot. That's why I dropped out of the Senate race. I worked for President Trump twice. I served in his first term and I've served in his second term. I know what a determined and fierce leader he is. And when he makes an endorsement, you're wise to heed it. There are a lot of people right now, I think, who are, their teeth are chattering a little bit. If I were Bill Cassidy or Thomas Massey, I'd be pretty nervous this morning. I slept like a baby last night. So what I'd say is after yesterday, I think that every one of our legislative representatives in Montgomery are probably giving a real hard look at what the president wants to do, and they'll be taking direction from the White House. And if I know this White House, I can't speak for the president, of course, but if I know his administration, and I have worked in it twice, I'm betting they're going to be pushing hard for a 7-0 map, because one member of Congress right now from Alabama can make all the difference. Congress is that close. One difference, one voice from Alabama can make the difference between having Hakeem Jeffries lead our nation and be third in line to the presidency, can be the difference between having Maxine Waters oversee banks in Birmingham and AOC in a leadership position. Alabama has an opportunity to really, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, save the republic, because we're in a Flight 98 situation in the United States. So much has to be fixed. And if we spend the next 2 years of the Trump administration fighting a Congress that just wants to have impeachments and sham hearings and Russia hoaxes and anything else they can dream up, it will be miserable for the republic.
Could you speak to the Democrats who are melting down over what could happen and what should happen?
Well, the speeches I heard yesterday, and I heard Terry Sewell's speech in Montgomery yesterday, and it is one of the more racist things I've ever heard in my life. She basically said that we don't need any more white males representing Alabama. And can you imagine if me, I'm a white male, said we don't need any more black females in leadership roles? I mean, this is a horrible thing to say, and it really insults both her voters and the people of the state of Alabama. And it's the wrong way, I think, to look at race. We're finally, the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Acts of the mid 60s guaranteed voting rights for all Americans. And when you racially gerrymander a state, you're disenfranchising one group of people to benefit another, and you're dividing people by race. It's the very argument we fought to overturn, separate but equal. That whole nonsense argument went out the window 60 years ago, and it needs to stay out the window. So I don't like hearing that. I mean, fight me on my policies, disagree with me on what I think it takes to make government better, but don't just call me a racist. And people are tired of that. There is name calling fatigue. Democrats have used this forever, and it used to work. Back in the 90s, you called someone a racist and they cowered in the corner and shut up. And that was effective. But it's the boy who cried wolf. They've called everybody a racist to the point where he's like, okay, next, what are your ideas? What are you planning to do? How are you trying to help the people of your district? Donald Trump has been called a racist, of course, since he got into politics in 2015. But look who has done more for the Black community than any other president since LBJ. Black unemployment at record lows, Black wage growth at record highs, funding of historically Black colleges and universities at record high. Donald Trump has done more for the Black community than a Black president did for the Black community. So my party, the Republican Party, is the party that freed the slaves. And I would hope that we could have a cordial talk about that and a cordial talk about ideas. But it seems to be that what the Democrats in Montgomery want to do, what Terry Sewell wants to do, is just do name calling. And that only works for so long.
There's part of me watching what's happening in Montgomery thinking, and for some reason, we always kind of cower to the Democrats. You watch it in the Senate rules, they haven't changed the rules. And I feel like Montgomery has always kind of protected Terry Sewell. And some of what they're doing, it seems like they're trying to ease into maybe the backlash from the Democrats with okay, we'll just do a 6-1 map. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. They're coming at you now, and they're going to come at you next year when you do
Yes.
it again, or whenever it is you go for 7-0. I don't understand, especially after you and Tuberville put out the op-ed calling for 7-0. And I'm curious what Tuberville's office, you don't have to speak for him, but they have to be really disappointed looking at this again, and the pressure from the White House, which is probably, if I'm guessing, Trump might be a little emboldened after last night, kind of like, we're going for broke here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to watch what Montgomery does from here, I guess. And you might have some insight into that.
Well, I think the heat's going to be on. All eyes are going to turn to Alabama and Tennessee and Mississippi and Louisiana. We're talking about a combined 11 seats across just those states. And Florida, of course, has already done its job, and Texas has done its job, and it really Alabama should. South Carolina looks like this morning it's moving. They just voted out a committee, I think 12-2, to redistrict all of South Carolina and make it 7-0. So we should absolutely match our brothers and sisters over in South Carolina and do the same thing here in Alabama. It's playing tough. And we need to play tough. It's not just a game, it's really the future of the country. And we see that Democrats have no problem and no compunction about doing this. They have made their intentions clear. If you heard James Carville last week, he said, when Democrats recapture power in Washington, D.C., they want to make Puerto Rico a state. They want to make Washington, D.C. a state. They want to pack the Supreme Court with 5 more justices. They want to make abortion on demand the law of the land. They've been very clear about what they want to do. So we need to play tough. This isn't about gamesmanship. This isn't about sending, a token Democrat to DC. This is playing for keeps. We've got to do it now. It's our best shot at saving the country.
Agree. Thank you so much for
Yes.
being with us. Keep us posted if you hear anything else that is coming our way, any changes in Montgomery or DC, and we will be watching you because, well, your next move hinges on this as well. So
That's right. That's right. Well, it's great talking to you all. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Have
Be-
a great day.
We
Be
need
good.
to get Captain to do some liners for us.
He does have a radio
He's got a
voice.
great voice. I didn't
Yeah.
want to ask him on the spot, but sir, would you do some liners for us or some fun reels?
Captain Morgan.
Just, just something. I'm dreaming it
He
up
does
on
have
the
a good
spot.
radio
He's got a
voice.
good voice. I really appreciated his insight. It was very helpful. Like you just kind of now I want to go run through a brick wall. I'm like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Playing for keeps.
Well, he's heavily invested in this. If you notice when he dropped out of the Senate race, he immediately started putting out, congressional candidate. And I think he kind of saw this happening. And now, I don't know, our hopes and dreams might be dying. But I don't think so. I'm not giving up yet. We've got to go to a break. When we come back, we will get to the montage and some news.
Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair, and we are joined by a dear friend of ours. Her name is Heather Davis, and not only has she become a counselor, not only has she written a Bible study, but she's one of the wisest women I know, and she can tell you about herself. We have so many questions for her. We're not going to get to all of them, but the main point today is how do we deal with a generation of kids that no matter what we do, we seem to be doing it wrong? How do we have hard conversations? How do we broach uncomfortable subjects and not lose our mind doing it? How do we do that? So, welcome.
Hi, thank y'all for having me.
We're so glad you're here.
I'm a little overwhelmed by the honor and the love. So thank you.
Wow. I'm overwhelmed by the fun. Like I've heard about Heather for years, and she walked in and I was like, oh, she's one of us.
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome.
Yes.
I think y'all are in for a treat because I'm pretty sure it will all be said, like not holding back. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So, first, real quick, what's your background, and did you ever see yourself doing what you're doing today?
No and yes. My background is I graduated from the University of Alabama at Birmingham in '93. Thought that I was going to be the next physical therapist, but apparently statistics are very important in that role. And so I never got an opportunity. Had worked at ASMI with Lemack, Andrews, and Rogers, the gods of orthopedics, and realized that the gods of orthopedics bow down to the God of the universe because he had a plan. He brought me here under the guise of my personal wants and wish list, and he saved me, transformed me, and called me into ministry before I was 25 years old. So it was what I like to call a butt kicking in reality and practical theology. So 25 to almost 40-ish. I was on different church staffs here in Birmingham, always around connection, community, small groups. It had this just innate from the time I was a little girl ability to hear through the lens of the gospel and love people. And so was counseling before I was ever really into that. Had a horrific marriage, started doing a lot of therapy just to kind of get through what life throws at you. Addictions that, back in the late 1990s, early 2000s, we didn't say the word porn out loud. We didn't say affairs out loud. We didn't say sexual addiction out loud. These type of things were what I was dealing with. And on church staff, so I had been on a staff where they were like, you need to step back and get your house in order. And that really kind of undid me. And the long and short of it is I did a deconstruction of my theology to find out, well, if it's my husband who's sinning and he's the head of the home, how do I get my house in order? And so it really just kind of took the legalism that I had been brought up with. My parents are very good people, very moral. And then I, became Baptist in Birmingham, Alabama. And so I just traded one for the other. And so he really just started to show me what a practical theology was and how do you live out what you honestly believe. So long and short of it, I ended up doing master's program and getting counseling certifications. And now I'm a gospel coach. So my last accreditation is board certified master mental health coach. And I specialize in life recovery, addictions, and neuroscience. I work through the lens of NARM, which is a neuroaffectual relationship model, which basically means the psycho, biological, neurological way that our bodies and brains process. And so it's really kind of cool because that just flows right into theology. Forever, God's been telling us if we renew our mind, we can be transformed. And that's exactly what I get to do with people. So I love it. I know that's pretty heady, but
no, I'm so curious because a lot of people will say psychology, psychiatry is antithetical to the gospel, to theology, to God. But it sounds like you fuse the two. Like God created us, God gave us these mental capacities, He wired us. How do you put science and God together? Because most people want to separate them.
Right. So for me, as a Baptist even, it was very difficult for me to understand the difference between spirit, soul, and my flesh. Okay. And so it took me a long time to get the understanding that, my flesh is the part that has its own proclivities. It has its own predisposition towards typical types of sin. That's my flesh. That's the part of me that makes me human. Then there's the spirit, which is, I was made in the image of God. I'm an image bearer. We're all image bearers, and it's unique in each one of us. That's why we're all so valuable to the kingdom. And then there's this soul. This is the part was so elusive for me. It was just kind of like a mirage. Like, how do I grasp it? And the best way I've figured out how to hold on to it is it's a 3-part. It's your mind, your will, and your emotions. And so your mind definitely includes your brain, but it's more than just your brain. You've got your subconscious and your conscious. So the things that I say are biblical truths. The things I believe about myself, that mental tape, that's the subconscious. That's your mind. That's the part that's got to be transformed. Then you've got your will, which is, your disciplines and the things that each of us have or do not have. I kind of lack will when it comes to bread, Diet Coke, French fries, ice cream. I mean, there's a list, but my will is very low on those. And then there's your emotions. Well, your emotional state is definitely important, but I was.
And hello. Hi, this is The Right Side. At The Right Side, I'm Amy Beth. She's Allison. He's JP. We're just figuring things out. There's so much going on. Do you ever have weeks like that, y'all? Where there's so much going on, you think, if I just can make it to Saturday, it's going to be great.
I do. Remind me to ask y'all something.
Okay.
Another meeting we need to plan.
All right.
Okay.
So there you go. All right. So I hope you enjoyed our interview with Morgan Murphy. Would love your thoughts on what you think the map should look like. What I do appreciate is that he said in other states, they send a whole slate of Republicans to DC. The margins are tight in the House. Why every time do we just crumble a little bit? We start off, we're like, yeah, and then we crumble. We can't do that. We cannot do it. It's not personal. It's policy. And it's constitutional. And it's simple. But I genuinely hope that the men and women in Montgomery will go, once the injunction's lifted, here you go. This is what we're going to do.
That would be nice. Especially since he brought up James Carville. I mean, I do think, hello, if you're paying attention to any of the Democrats, again, they are very clear about what they're going to do.
We're going to kill you.
Yes. We're going to, gosh, what was her name? I just went to Nancy Kerrigan and
Nancy Kerrigan. Oh,
who was
Tanya Harding.
Tanya Harding.
She kneecapped her.
Fanny.
Well, pow.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do to us. But we're still like, well, let's just don't do that. It'll take a little bit of energy to bust your knees.
They're like, well, you know what we should really do is sit around the circle with our guitars and our mandolins and the other little tiny thing that kids like to play these days. What's that little itty bitty thing?
The ukulele?
The ukulele.
I don't know.
And we should just sit around in a circle and sing Kumbaya and make everybody happy, because if everybody's happy, then it'll be safer that way. Meanwhile, they're like standing around trying to get us, sucker. And we can't do that. We can't do it. They're telling us what they're going to do. It's the same with other things happening across the country. They're telling us how they feel about us. And we're like, no, they don't really mean that. Yes, they do.
I think, and we don't have to go long on this, but I think it's an interesting discussion. But like Republicans as a whole nationwide have a big problem with following up with what they say they're going to do. But in Alabama, it's so bizarre to me. It's so unique, I feel like, in terms of, and I think Leland actually expressed it really well, I thought, of they protect, it's almost like they're on the same team as the Democrats, and like they protect their own, they protect the system. But like even the Republicans in DC, I feel like the one when they don't follow up, it's not because they're on the team of the Democrats, it's just kind of because they're lazy and weak and they just don't have the. But with Alabama Republicans, not everybody, obviously, but I just feel like it's unique for the most part of that I'm starting to see more and more of. It's like they're buddies at the country club and they don't want to put them, in a bad spot. We're on the same team, really. It's like professional wrestling. It's like a theater. It's like my job is to say I'm going to do this and we're going to kill you, but I'm going to throw you a bone and make, so that we can beat and we can have fun. And this is just politics. We're just having fun. Like it's not the same mindset. I don't know. I just feel like Alabama for some reason is unique in that way. And if we get I understand there's legality behind it, but if we're given a once in a lifetime opportunity, like Morgan Murphy said, to do a 7-0 and we just go to a 6-1 just to, and I understand, like I said, the legal ramifications, but if we do that just to not beat up the Democrats too bad, and that's just,
it's weak. It's not personal. It's weak. We can be friends with everybody. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's where we get in our own way. We're talking about our country, guys, and one side versus the other side, and they are diametrically opposed because we, the people, do not agree with one party. We don't. Chopping off genitals. Okay? And abortion till the day of birth in some cases. And LGBTQ plus. That's what they believe in. And the country was headed in that direction before Harris lost. And now we have an opportunity to really solidly send it into another direction. It's policy. It's not personal. So I hope you guys will consider a 7-0 map, please.
Again, we are up against time, and I understand. And Steve Marshall, when he was on the show yesterday, said that they were filing another writ certiorari. I don't know. They were filing something else somewhere.
Saying a Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
You know what I'm trying to say.
I do.
She had too much tequila last night.
She did.
If I had my sombrero, I could think. Do you need to go get that?
No, because I'm
Okay.
going to call him right back at the break.
When you started talking about chopping off genitals,
It's
I
like they
almost made a
knew.
bear joke, and then I decided, nope, this is serious.
Fair.
Anyway, the vet just called. So Steve Marshall filed a thingy to the three judges, asking them to make a ruling on lifting the. This is really hurting my brain. Lifting the injunction or something today. Well.
I love you so much.
Okay, actually, everything
That's
I'm
right.
saying is
No, it's
true.
actually right.
Okay.
It's just you're smiling, and
Okay.
so it's
Okay.
serious.
But the three judges, people in the robes,
Right.
they responded yesterday and said, actually, we're going to give the defendants or the plaintiffs
Till 5 o'clock tomorrow.
till 5 o'clock tomorrow to respond. Therefore, we will not be getting a ruling today. It might be tomorrow after 5 or Friday morning. Hence lifting the thingy.
The injunction.
Hence lifting the injunction, which means the legislature is still in session. They still are on the calendar for Friday. If they wanted to, I researched it, and Chat GPT told me that they could pass a map in one day.
I love ChatGPT.
I'm serious.
I know. I went boop, boop, boop for some information today that I'll actually show you later.
And
I love chat.
If they actually wanted to be proactive, they could be drawing those maps right now. There's several of them out there. Just choose one. Have it ready for Friday. And you have to read it on the floor and pass it through committee really, really fast. But I think it could be done.
I love when Allison's explaining things, even when she's correct and right, it's like she has to convince herself that she's like what she's explaining. It's like she's trying to explain it to herself, and it's like she doesn't even understand it. She's trying to convince it to herself. It's like,
Yep.
You're right.
Well,
Allison, you're right.
there are
You're right.
motions and injunctions and writs of certiorari. I don't know. You know those things. I need relief. There's some remedies in there.
Yeah.
There's lots of words that I'm learning, but I actually do know what I'm talking about.
I actually,
Did that make sense though?
Yeah,
Kind of.
it makes sense.
Okay.
We got you.
Bottom line, if they wanted to, they could just have one ready. And then if the Supreme Court rules and you already have a 7-0 map ready, you still have 30 days to work within the special session that the governor already called. So you could okay, everybody come back.
yeah.
I got it all figured out. I did it at like 2 a.m, not last night, but the night before.
Good
Well,
on you.
And we're knocking out a montage topic right now, so we can play this after this discussion and get to the rest. But I think the one part that, regardless, because it's timing and legality and all that is a factor, but regardless, it is a bit embarrassing if, and it looks like this may be the case, if they did not have a already drawn ready 7-0 map to have, because it's not like this decision snuck up on you. It's not like they were like, oh, there's a SCOTUS ruling. It's like this has been in the works for a long. So you true leadership, and I don't know the behind the scenes discussions or whatever, but it looks like as of now they didn't even have something like that ready. It's like they're scrambling and they're having to the time, and why didn't they have that ready?
You can go get it.
Well, now I do because it's one of our guests.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, I think regardless, why didn't they have a 7-0 in the chamber?
Okay. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's okay. I mean, we still have time to do something. I think if they wanted to, maybe not actually pass it, but I think they could actually have something ready to go in case we wanted to pass it and not waste these next 30 days of possibilities. But lots of moving parts. And again, remember, Alabama is very different because of Allen versus Milligan. See, I did know that. And so we aren't a Louisiana. We aren't a South Carolina. There's this whole extra step in there. So, okay, there's grace for that. I guess I'm surprised too that some of the legislators and some of leadership isn't actually using this more for political capital. Just talking about at least making the appearance of keeping up a 7-0 fight. I don't know if that's right to say or do, but I would be. Wouldn't you use this?
Absolutely.
It's like the one thing every Republican agrees on.
Yeah,
And
but-
we've got elections coming up in November. So if you look weak and kind of lame and like you aren't even fighting literally to save America, and you're like, 6 months better than 5 years.
Because right now it looks like you are in the, and we hope we're wrong, but as both of y'all are talking, all I can think about is all those times where you tell your mom at the last minute, oh, by the way, I have a project due tomorrow. We got to go to Big B. We got to go to the drugstore,
What's Big
and
B?
I need what used to be CVS, but it was Big B
Wow.
in Birmingham. And so it is, Mom, like I need markers and I need a piece of like I need a big cardboard, whatever, because I got to do stuff. Or you got the science fair and the science fair is 2 days away. And you're like, Mom, I need all the supplies,
The baking soda, the vinegar.
all of it. Oh, and by the way, can you help me build it? That's what it feels like. But I hope we're wrong. I hope that they're exactly that. They've got several maps drawn up. They're just waiting on go. We like y'all. We want you to go crazy on this and make it right and take this opportunity to give us a 7-0. It's the number of perfection. Come on, guys.
That's
Wouldn't
so
it be
true.
awesome if like on Friday they all were like, suckers, look what we got. And like they walk out on the Senate floor with this beautiful map and just stick it. What's her name? Not Nancy Kerrigan.
Are you talking about the girl who kneecapped her?
Yes,
Tanya Harding.
Tanya Harding, the Democrats right there in the Senate chamber. Be awesome.
Did you have coffee this morning?
I'm writing Tanya Harding down. She is the word of the day. And I'm not
Oh,
going
we
to forget
didn't do
it.
a word of the day, by the way.
Oh, we
Okay.
didn't. Can you grab a word of the day right quick?
How about we play the montage?
Okay.
And then I will look for.
And by the way, while you're playing the montage, I just want to tell you real quick, our friend K. Carl Smith is here and he'll be sneaking in a moment. And I cannot wait to talk to him about all the things. We have so many questions. So anyway, if you hear the door opening during the montage, that's our friend. All
You know
right.
we can go to the conference room. Anyway.
Oh, I didn't even
write
think
you a
about
note.
that. All right. Thanks.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks. Okay. All right, sir. What's the word of the day or montage first and then word of the day?
Yeah, I'll look for a word of the day and Gen Z word of the day during the montage.
Thanks. Thank you.
for news.
And from our CBS 42 State Capitol Bureau, the House and Senate committees are sending redistricting bills to the floor for debate.
Bills that set August 26, 2026 as a special called primary election passed the House and Senate committees, but not without debate. Democrats argue that the move by Republicans still violates the law and suppresses black voters.
Alert, the president says based on the request of Pakistan and other countries, we have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized and signed.
And now we're going to take a hit because we have to make a journey down to Iran to take the nuclear weapon. They would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks. Remember, we sent that beautiful B-2 bomber in, and we blew up their nuclear potential. It was obliterated, for those that are not aware.
Brooke has found out that we've got 355,000 people on SNAP benefits receiving double benefits, that we've got 186,000 dead people getting SNAP benefits. I also was talking to Brooke backstage and she said, you know that there are people who have this is not a joke. There are people who have Lamborghinis who currently receive SNAP benefits. I said, huh.
How about you? What sport do you play?
I play volleyball, and in the summer I'm trying to get into soccer.
Well, and with your height, do you smash the ball, the volleyball? Do you get up high? Can you jump high?
Not very.
Soccer might be better.
Our little girl.
Her dreams.
By the
Shattered.
president of the United States.
What a dumpling of a little girl. And then maybe
Not
soccer might be
really.
better. Oh,
Yeah, soccer may be better.
soccer. Bless her heart. It's okay, honey. He didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. He was Simon Cowelling you right now.
Do you think she can, what would the left say? She can play volleyball on a rebounder? for
Yeah.
equity,
Yeah.
something.
Yes, Allison, that's
Like,
actually genius.
Actually, I mean, Donald Trump's kind of right. Like, if you don't have the ups or the height, you might want to stick with soccer. That's the way Republicans do it. The Democrats are like, no, you live in La La Land. We'll make exceptions for you. Because she wasn't white.
She wasn't white. You know what they would do? They would put a man on her team, call it a girl, and say, here's your
Yep.
help. We'll get a center
We're
for
gonna
you,
send-
a middle blocker. And even though his name is Robert, we're going to call him Babina and let her be the middle blocker or right side. It's fine.
Roberta.
Anyway, all right. Well, bless her heart. May you be great in soccer. And may
get
you
him.
slide tackle some of the goalies and make the other parents on the team mad, like one of my kids used to do.
Yeah, Tanya Harding, those goalies.
Exactly.
Take him.
Just off the chain.
I actually slept really well last night.
I did too. Hey, us. Yay, us. This
Yeah,
is what we
it's-
look like when we sleep.
It's always difficult.
All right. So okay, look, we're gonna pause on the montage because we are 6 minutes until break. JP, let's do word of the day. And then after K Carl, we'll roll through montage and we have hot flash news. Like we have a crazy 11 o'clock hour. But what's the word of the day and the Gen Z word of the day, sir?
Okay, this is
He's
actually
giggling.
a great word of the day.
Of course you got the word.
All right, so I'll say the description or the what it means on the Merriam-Webster. Someone or something.
It's called a definition.
Okay, yeah, but it says what it means. It's like, anyways,
It's 'cause
someone,
we're
It's
all
called a
dumb. We
definition.
can't- Nobody knows what definition
Here's
means
what
anymore.
it means.
someone or something described as blank has a very noticeable quality that attracts a lot of attention. Such a person or thing.
Eccentric.
No, such a person or thing is often strikingly elaborate or colorful in their behavior or display.
Demonstrative.
Did you say colorful?
No, you did.
She said eccentric.
Eccentric, colorful, but they're just larger than life.
Yeah.
Charisma.
Yeah.
Riz.
Well, yeah.
Read it again. In
Yeah,
a
one more time
sentence. Wait,
slowly.
use it in a sentence, but make it blank.
Okay. This is the example in here. Helen McCroy's blank and perfectly drawn portrayal of Polly was the show's real treasure, a steel-willed matriarch, unusually attuned to the
This
mysticism.
is terrible.
of the
Stop.
show.
I hate
Even
it. You
what-
got
that's the
what's
worst
another
use in a
sentence?
sentence. Okay, JP, you use it in a sentence. I don't even know who Helen Keller is.
Allison Sinclair is a rather blank person, or she's rather blank when she's trying to describe or explain something.
Obtuse?
No.
Uneducated.
That's not
No.
true.
She-
Specific. She's specific.
No.
She's laser focused.
I'll give you a hint.
No, she's
I'll give you one hint because we got about a minute and a half.
blubbering.
Starts with an F.
Farquhar?
It's an adjective.
She's rather
Fancy?
Mm-mm.
figurative.
No.
Do any of our listeners know? Have they texted in?
Not yet. One person got it wrong.
Okay.
What was their guess?
They said animated before I said
Oh,
that.
animated.
I like
that is
the
a good
word
one.
animated.
I
When you
give up.
say this,
That's a synonym.
Flagrant.
No.
Floppy.
Not fervent. That's a different word.
The first three letters
Focused.
of that word were the same.
Flagrant.
Flagrant. Fluff. Flamboyant.
Flamboyant. Flamboyant.
That's good.
Okay.
Flamboyant.
Elton John.
I can be
Flamboyant.
flamboyant.
I
I'll
can
start
rather
throwing my
flamboyant.
arms everywhere. Talking.
I love
Okay.
that word.
What's
Gen Z
the-
word of the day.
Yeah.
Dead. DED. Dead.
DED?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's. Are you sure that's not deed?
No, it's dead.
Dead.
Dead?
So this essentially is short for dedication. So when you say you don't have the dead to do something like where I'm like really tired, like I really should do this, but I ain't got the dead to do that. Or I really should do this, but I don't got the dead.
We're going to use that today.
Montgomery doesn't have the dead
They
to do this.
prove us wrong.
I was in high school when I found that word out.
That's a
Dead.
great word. I like that word. I don't like abbreviations often, but that one,
But the problem is they think you don't know how to spell dead.
We know how to spell,
Ish.
but
I'm not a great speller,
stick with me, kid,
but I can demonstrate.
because you're
She's
flamboyant.
flamboyant.
Ta-da!
So injunctions and motions and
Writs of Worcestershire.
Yeah.
Riz. The girls got Riz.
I've got Riz.
guys, I did chat GPT research.
We're
Please
going to
take
be
me
very
seriously.
serious with K. Carl Smith when we come back and talk about Frederick Douglass, Karl Marx, and
Oh,
redistricting.
You had to just
Don't
be a
go
buzzkill.
anywhere.
We'll be back.
I was brought up in a military, medical, Italian family. Emotions were not things we talked about. You were sent from the table till you could get it in order and come back, dry your face up. So the emotions, that's part of it. Well, what we've got right now is a generation that's led by their emotions. Then you've got, our generation, Gen X, which is totally led by will.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will do what we're going to do because we know. And so those two generations are really clashing. And then you've got the generation that's the mind, and these are facts, and that would be your baby boomers. And so that's where these generations are really struggling, is the way we see soul is so different that we're having trouble determining how do we even communicate about it, and even more so, how do we love these kids and give them the safety and security that they need, because we're the adults and we've been there. And we know what it was like to be raised by people who didn't value emotion and they didn't value will. They only valued trust or truth and achievement. And so we're in that precipice where they all meet, and it's kind of like the rubber meets the road, and we're dealing with it because these kids are not believing what we believe.
Not at all. And is that why? That's just so interesting, that clash of civilization, really. But is that why you mentioned a minute ago, the kids today seem to be so led by their emotion? It doesn't matter what logic you present. It doesn't matter. I mean, even going so far, and you and I have talked about this, where some people will say, well, what is truth? As if it's this nuanced thing that we can create rather than a concrete, no, truth is. Right. We rotate around the truth.
My truth,
and
your truth.
Yeah. Can you talk to us about that? I mean, why?
We talk about the postmodern world, like that's where we're at postmodern. And so relativism is incredibly real. I just had a conversation with my oldest child, who's 26 and in law school. And she asked me specifically, are you okay with the unkind treatment to people who are not citizens of our country? And I was like, help me understand what unkind is. And she goes, Mama, you got your therapy hat on. And I was like, well, I need to understand your terms, because that's where we're at. Her version of unkind is an experiential unkind. For me, clear is kind. Unclear is unkind. Kindness means I would extend something to you that you have not earned. It's a gift. Kindness is a gift. And she was like, well, I don't think kindness is that way. It's an attribute. And I was like, okay, that's where we're at. We have to define terms with this generation, because theirs is an experiential, emotional thing. Kindness is a character trait. You can't give what you don't have. And so for her, she really struggles, and she's typical. She's a millennial. She is very typical of, if you're not kind and you don't do it the right way, you're wrong. I'm like, where's the grace in that? But they don't have grace because they don't understand it.
Is this across the board? Like, I don't know if there's a little chat group of all the NARM therapists out there. But I'm curious if it's more pervasive in the South, just the Southern culture. No, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. NARM, the model that I use, is worldwide, and it's kind of ironic, but when we do our Zooms, when you do your trainings, you're on Zooms, there'll be people from all over the world, and they'll say, Heather, and then it'll say he, she, it, whatever your pronouns are, and we'll have people from, one was from China, one was from Scotland, my favorite accent, and she was saying, what is this she, her thing? She was like, and we had to explain, in America, you have to say your pronouns. And the woman was like, what?
Mm.
You are who you are. But in
wow.
America, it's up for debate. But in other countries, that's not even an issue. They don't deal with it. And so we're kind of in that place where we're making up things
Yes.
to be upset about, to be offended by, or to draw a line in the sand. This makes you on this side and me on this side, when we've missed the point. We need to go a little bit deeper than a soundbite, in my opinion.
But okay, so how did we get here? Before we move on with, how we handle this, but how did we get here? Is this a social media thing? Is it, yes, you're nodding.
Well, social media is definitely on the tail end of it, but it's been there before. It really, in my opinion, sociologically, you can go back to when we stopped asking for the third question and teaching critical thinking to our children. I can completely disagree with someone and respect their opinion, hold space for them to share it,
Right.
because I could learn from the other side. There are things I could learn. I mean, I was brought up in a very small bubble. I was born on a military base, lived overseas during Vietnam in a military base in Germany, and watched the way they did it. Troops would come back from Vietnam and they would come to Germany and get safe and healed a little bit more before they'd transport them back to Walter Reed in Maryland. And so that's what my first 6 years of life was seeing what that looked like. It's a very narrow point of view. I thought military, it was like God, country, family is the way I was raised. And that's just not it. So when I came back, it's a very different world. And so that's what we've got to recognize is people only know how to live from their experience. If they are not taught to think critically and they're not taught to respect everyone's opinions, and not just that the opinion is valid, their opinion can be valid and wrong.
That's good.
Truth does not bend. Truth is a fact. Truth is from God. And if that's not your starting point, you've got to come up with what your true north is, your compass. But if truth doesn't align with my personal opinion, I've got to do business with the Lord.
Y'all, it is our pleasure to welcome to the show a longtime friend, although long time no see. He's going to catch us up. K. Carl Smith. I'm sure you have heard him speak. It's been years, but he did Frederick Douglass Republicans, and it's just grown and gone gangbusters from there. You've had work to do in the Trump administration before. Catch us up, but thank you for coming. Our studios are called the Treehouse. But K. Carl Smith, welcome to the Right Side. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for inviting me to your treehouse. It was a climb to get up here, but I enjoyed the climb.
It is. We are way up in the sky, but you could hear us laughing. I think you came up and you're like, y'all
I heard
really
you
loud.
laughing.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I want to be.
Because I'm
I want to be truthful here.
flamboyant. That is our word of the day.
So I'm
Flamboyant.
excited to be here. It's been a long time since we ran across each other. I think at the state capitol, where I remember.
Yes.
And walking around and doing the things we have to do there.
So tell us a little bit. I mean, we know bits and pieces of your life, but for our listeners and audience, fill us in about you, how you got here, how you got involved with the Republican Party, and Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
Douglass.
Let's go back a few years now. So I grew up in Huntsville.
Okay,
and
I
then,
didn't know that.
Where'd you go to high school?
Butler High School, which doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, my husband grew up at Grissom.
Okay, and I went there with Alabama A&M. Kind of fast forward a little bit. So I was a student at A&M and also an RTC student. So when I graduated, got my bachelor's degree, I also received a commission and to go to the United States Army as a second lieutenant. Served 17 years on active duty.
Oh, wow.
They started a 15-year retirement program. So even though I had 17, I qualified for that. So I completed my service obligation as a major on active duty. And then, like most Americans, I got tired of screaming at the television, realized I got to get involved. And
What year was this?
Gotta be like 96, 97.
So we were just starting to get a little crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As a country then. We're easing into it. Bill Clinton years.
Then somebody came along and said they want to fundamentally transform the United States. Not my words, his words. And I realized then I got to get more involved because when you go in the military, you take this oath. You swear to defend the Constitution against all threats, domestic and outside the border. So we have a domestic concern here. So got involved in politics in terms of Republican Party because my values, even I'm a former Democrat, my values are more aligned with conservatism and the mess of the Republican Party. So got involved in that and realized that, wait a minute, I'm sick or tired of being called this Uncle Tom. We got a messaging problem. So over a period of time, and my curiosity was pricked by the Holy Spirit, where I came up with a messaging strategy to empower conservatives how to trump the race card, how to have conversations and not confrontations as you share your values. And I came up with something called the Frederick Douglass Republican Engagement Strategy. And that has taken a life of its own. I was advisor to the Trump campaign for a couple of years, did not listen to anything I had to say, but we tried to help them with their messaging strategy.
Oh, time out. You said they did
They
not?
did not. The reason why? You got to understand that with every campaign, you got political operatives. You have strategists. Strategists are paid to be strategists, and they are paid to come up with a strategy of their own. If there's a strategy to come outside of their control that they did not create, they're not going to make it. They're not going to let it get through because they may get rid out of the budget.
But okay.
Can you share anything that you shared with him?
I mean,
like
what?
any strategy that you're like, oh, if anything I said, they should have done.
Well, I mentioned them and said, when you want to take the message to the Black community specifically, don't go on there using the word conservative because that is an immediate attack word. I said, start leveraging the liberty message of Frederick Douglass in order to resonate with the Black community. And they didn't do that.
So
that's why they had problems.
Okay.
That makes
sense.
They should have listened. Okay. Have you ever heard K. Carl speak?
Maybe once at an event, but it's not like I don't think I got the full.
I think we need to do a
experience.
Penny University with him.
What is that now?
Oh, well, it's something we're in the process of inventing, and you might be a part of it. So we'll let you know.
Whatever y'all come up with, I'd be happy to be part of it. Y'all doing some great things.
That would be great. So you finished with that, and that obviously was a multiplication effort in that people met you, heard about your message, and now you are sent out into so many places.
Faith-based organizations, civic organizations, Republican clubs, organizations to speak, mostly to train, because we have a messaging program. We train people on this methodology. And basically what we teach is one of the aspects of it, stop using the word conservative to identify yourself, especially if you want to do diversity outreach, because that word has been demonized by the left. I mean, it's true. When you just somebody, you're a conservative, you just basically admitted you're an Uncle Tom or a racist. So therefore now you're on the defense, trying to prove you're not Uncle Tom or a racist.
Okay, are you talking to Black Americans? Or are you talking to Black and white Americans?
It doesn't matter.
Is the message the same?
This message is the same.
Okay, so if I go into a Black community and use the word, you should be a conservative, or that they're automatically, you don't even have to say Republican, conservative.
Well, the word Republican also has a racist connotation as well. Okay. So yeah, the word conservative does too.
So I need to say, be a Frederick Douglass?
No, you need to identify, say you are one.
Okay.
That's your political identity.
Okay.
And you tell them your story. So other than, you can't just utter the phrase now. You just can't say I'm a Frederick Republican. You got to have the content to come behind the phrase.
Right.
Is that once you do that, you should really sharing your testimony of transformation. Okay. Just like the Apostle Paul did. He shared his testimony of transformation to win hearts and minds. The same strategy. So, and that's another point, because this whole engagement strategy we came up with is based on the liberty message of Frederick Douglass. In my view, Frederick Douglass is America's greatest liberty messenger. Is based on the diversity outreach strategy of the Apostle Paul. When you really think about it, Paul was commissioned by God to take the gospel to the Gentiles, people of different ethnicities. Paul was a diversity engagement specialist. And is based on the outreach ministry of Jesus Christ. First chapter of Acts. When God sat down with the disciples after 3 years of training them, he said, when you go out, I want you to go to Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, other parts of the earth. Well, the question is, where is Jerusalem? Well, that's where you live. That's in reach. What Republicans want to do outreach first. Samaria is outreach. Samaria is not first. Samaria is a community you go to, may could be antagonistic.
I see what you're saying.
So you start with in-reach. In-reach, your Thanksgiving dinner table is a symbolic representation of in-reach. You start there first.
Yep.
Don't start going to a community you don't have no strong relationship in and try to engage, because you have not perfected the pattern. You got to practice this thing, and you practice on your family and friends, right?
That's
Yeah.
good.
Before you do
Isn't that good?
outreach.
Yep.
So good. All right. We'll contain ourselves just for time, but we'll have to make this a thing. Beyond that, because that makes so much sense, the in-reach before the outreach, and Frederick Douglass and his liberty message. I just finished Booker T. Washington's, rereading it, and I just started rereading Frederick Douglass, but I got the big one this time. I think the one that I learned about from you years ago. But talk to us, help us do two things, because
Sure.
we want to talk about Douglass and Karl Marx, which is incredible. But before we get there, because it's a battle that is raging right now and because of things that have just happened, can you help us frame what is going on and understand the whole map situation in
The
Alabama?
redistricting and the Supreme Court decision.
Yeah.
I could argue both sides, to be honest with you. I understand that in the side I'm going to take now, we shouldn't use color to determine political power. No, we should use color to determine somebody's opportunity.
Very
Because
right.
use color, that's a Marxist thing.
Right.
But on the other side, we got to understand Alabama's history. We didn't get here by mistake. So my thinking, and I thought about this, it'll be naive to think, living in Alabama, that we should not use some type of element of race to determine what's the districts. The district should not look like a spaghetti. If you got a high concentration of black and look like a square in the 7th district, why gerrymander that? Why play games with that? And I was looking at a map up in Virginia. It looked like a lobster. How they gerrymandered that district for political power. So my thing is that my question is this: it is what it is. But my question is, since we cannot use race to redistrict, what are we going to do? What are we going to substitute that with? What does that look like? What's the criteria we're going to use now? That's my concern.
What do you think? Is there a fear there? Because my understanding is they do it based on population. We got to have kind of the same amount of people, and then just keeping communities together.
They should do that. But
you're afraid they won't.
They have not always done that.
Okay. I see what you're
They
saying.
should do that. So that's where we got to be vigilant, because everyone should feel that their voice counts. Okay. In Alabama, 27% of blacks live in Alabama. 27%. My concern is, what are we going to replace that with, where those people are going to feel that they're still have someone representing them? It don't have to look like them, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing I disagree with. Just because somebody looks like me, that don't mean they're representing my values. What's the old saying? All skin folks are not kin folks. So that's why I said I can argue this both ways. But moving forward is, what are we going to replace it with? Are they going to go back to the red map? And remember now, like I said,
The 6-1.
Right.
Yeah.
And my other thing, we didn't get it by accident. Remember, it was in 2023 where the federal judge had to get involved and did the maps himself because our legislators didn't want to do it. So we got to be vigilant.
Okay.
We got to stay vigilant.
So do you
I don't care who's in
think
power.
that if we were, because you're asking a good question, we talked to Leland Whaley about this a little bit, or he had some thoughts, which was, if we go to, say, a 7-0 map, one of the things that will have to happen is that Republicans can't ignore the people who did not vote for them.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. That's been the problem.
Yes.
And let me tell you a story. Look up this guy's name. His name is Guy, Guy Lalonde, out of Lakeland, Florida.
That's a name.
Guy Lalonde. Guy Lalonde is a white conservative. He won in 2023 the Lakeland, I think it's called the Lakeland City Council seat. He won that seat in 2023. That district is 60% black. That district had been occupied by a black Democrat for 5 decades, for 50 years. Had been occupied by a black Democrat. He won that seat.
How'd he do it?
He went door to door, and what he did, he introduced himself by aligning himself with the values of Frederick Douglass. He talked their language. They recognized Frederick Douglass's name. They hold Frederick Douglass in great deal of high respect. Here's a candidate coming in leveraging Douglass's name. That caught them by surprise, and he meant it. So he won that seat, Galalunde. And the smart thing he did, after he won that seat, there was concerns in the Black community now. They did not have anybody in that seat that looked like them. They were concerned they were no longer being represented.
Mm-hmm.
What God did, he called the meeting the very next day he won the election. He met with all the pastors in that district, Black pastors, members of the NAACP, Black business owners, community leaders, concerned citizens. He met with them. He listened to them. He reintroduced himself to them, and he closed with a quote by saying, "I will not with anybody do right and nobody do wrong," which is a Frederick Douglass quote, and got a standing ovation. You got to go into those communities and let them know you may not look like them, but you have them in there for your concerns. That's what we have to do in the 7th District. That's what we got to do all over.
Yeah, it is. That is exactly what's missing.
Yeah, that's what Republicans are inept when it comes to that.
So
I can't say they don't care. I just they don't know how to do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is that we now in 2026, have gotten to this point where we're kind of scared to have the conversation. We're scared to sit down and have this kind of discussion because what the left has done is put a divide there into where we're like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to do the wrong thing. But we have to have this discussion, which is why this book is so important.
You have to be trained how to do that. I didn't know how to do it at first.
Mm-hmm.
When McCain and Palin ran for had that ticket, I had a red shirt on, said McCain and Palin went to the Black community. Somebody was going to try to get some Black votes. They ran me out of there. Why? I had the wrong message. I went there calling myself a Black conservative, and when they hear that, it's a Black racist. I had to learn how to speak their language, not to water down my message or my values, but like the Apostle Paul said, I become all things, all people. He didn't change his ways. He didn't change his values, but he knew how to cross the bridge to different cultures. That's what we have to do as Republicans.
It is what we have to do. And you're right, Allison. It's the perfect time to talk about your newest book because we do align more closely than we are separate. And we are people of the book, and we do trust our pastors, and we do have conservative values. But we do also have to recognize that too often in the Democrat Party, the things that are being done with their very liberal views on abortion, very liberal views on LGBTQ, very liberal views on marriage, etc., do not represent how most people feel. And yet I am learning that if you are Black and you express conservatism or from now on Frederick Douglass values, you're like, oh, I can't tell anybody. And I think that's changing, though. I saw some stats yesterday that the ties between Black Americans and the Democratic Party are loosening.
Yes.
I think, I don't know if it was Newsmax or something like that, did a report. So that's encouraging, but I do think there's been fear to identify because of the reasons you mentioned. But also we have to understand what we're all up against, which is Marxism. And that's the other thing that we can all come and truck that idea, because it's a hideous idea and it's failed every time it's tried. And yet it's so appealing. That's right.
To your point, you would get a lot of Blacks to come out of the closet, if you will, embrace conservative values and Republican message. Once you empower them on how to deal with the pushback. Because once you come out as a Black conservative, you're going to lose relationships. You may lose your job. But you have to empower them how to deal with that pushback, which will come. And what we tell them, stop using the word conservative. Embrace the liberty message of Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass is the ideal embodiment of conservative values. When you think about it.
Tell, for people that aren't familiar, and I don't,
sure.
I could use a refresher on who he was.
I'll give you a 2 minutes refresher course. Born in 18 into slavery in Maryland. the way I like to put it, since Frederick Douglass was born into slavery, he was born below poverty. He was a slave for the first 20 years of his life. Never slept in bed at age 8, never owned a pair of shoes at age 10. He was homeschooled, self-taught, because it was illegal to teach slaves how to read and write. He started his own homeschooling program because he rejected the slave master's common core curriculum, is my point. Okay. And so kind of fast forward a little bit, he was a slave. He escaped at the age of 20, 0 days of formal schooling. Frederick Douglass wrote 3 autobiographies. Frederick Douglass was an advisor to 5 Republican presidents: Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, James Garfield, Rutherford Hayes, and Benjamin Harrison.
Wow.
Most folks don't get a chance to meet one president. Frederick Douglass was an advisor to 5 U.S. presidents. And here's something about Douglass' life most folks do not get, and this is why Marx and the left don't elevate Douglass. At the time of Douglass's death, a man who was born into slavery for 20 years, he died with $300,000 in savings.
That's
like over $2 million
my
today.
word.
okay.
So the contrast, I know you're going to ask me the question, the contrast of Frederick Douglass and Karl Marx. I did not create the debate. I just made the debate visible because Frederick Douglass and Karl Marx were contemporaries. They were both born in 1818. Karl Marx was born in Germany into a bourgeoisie comfort home, and Douglass was born into slavery. They never met, but they were writing. Karl Marx wrote Communist Manifesto 1848. Douglass wrote his first autobiography 1845. So the debate was there. I wrote the book to bring the debate, made it visible. So there are 31 debates in this book. Douglass wins all the debates, not because I say so, because we have history. Everywhere Marxism has been applied, it always produced destruction of human dignity, oppression, mass murders. It doesn't work. Douglass was right. And Douglass advocated God-given rights, personal responsibility, faith, and work ethic. Those sound like conservative values. We don't call them conservative values. Those are life-empowering values in lieu of saying the word conservative. So in this book, there's 31 dialogues, Douglass and Marx going at it. The dialogues are not something that I made up, or they're not my comments. They're based on sources. They're based on what Frederick Douglass, Karl Marx wrote, said, and in the interviews. What did Karl Marx say about religion? He called it opium of the masses. What did Douglass say about religion? Douglass said religion is what inspired me to fight for freedom. Total opposite of Karl Marx. Most folks view Frederick Douglass as a museum piece. Frederick Douglass is not a museum piece. He's a weapon to destroy Marxism. And what's sad about it, most people don't know anything about it. That's why the book is written. It was written for pastors because pastors dealing with this every day. And they are in a position where they don't have the language on how to talk about Marxism, DEI, CRT without sounding political. This book does that. The book was written for parents and grandparents who now they got little Johnny, little Susie coming home after first semester of college with a whole view that's not what they've been taught in that family.
Preach it.
And the parents now, the grandparents don't know how to respond to that. It's in the book. The book is also written for students who now go to college and sit in these classes unprepared to the indoctrination that's going to come.
Right.
How do you prepare them? You prepare them by getting them ready before they go. True story. I have a nephew that's at Jeff State. And what happened was in one of his history classes, the teacher got up and said that the Constitution is a racist document, saying that the 3/5 clause is saying that blacks are 3/5 of a human being. I was taught that in college. But my nephew, KJ, had been reading the book, Douglass versus Marx. So with respect and confidence, he challenged the teacher. And he brought what Frederick Douglass had to say. The key thing, he brought Douglass into the conversation. Educated the teacher, inspired the students around him. Next thing I know, my nephew said, "Uncle, We got folks coming to your website getting this book because they want to know the truth too.
Right.
These other students. So young people have been lied to about this country is not great. They've been lied to and been told that United States is a country that cannot be redeemed for being a racist country. Total opposite of what Douglas said. Douglas said the Constitution is a glorious document. So all the claims of Marxism, Douglas is debating Marx in this book, and he crushes them because Douglas was right. Karl Marx was wrong. And that's what the book does. Hope I answered your question.
You did. So inspired.
And as you're talking, this isn't a black and white book. It's not about a black person and a white person. This is just, it sounds like this
is
truth. About truth.
It's not Democrat versus Republican. It's not about black versus white. It's about good versus evil.
Yes. Yep.
What you want to think about? That's what it is.
Yep.
Karl Marx was a Satanist.
Because it all comes down to how you think. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Either you're a godless atheist and you're going to live that way and look at how that ends up.
That's Karl Marx.
Exactly. Or we just finished Marx and Wurmbrand. Have you read that one?
Yes.
It's very short.
Yes.
Oh, my word. Or you believe in Jesus Christ and you live that way, like Frederick Douglass did.
Ordained Christian preacher.
Yeah.
So, when you look at the lives of Douglas and Karl Marx, I said both born in 1818. Karl Marx was born into a family. His father was a lawyer. He has bourgeoisie, middle class experience. Douglas born into slavery. Karl Marx went to universities. Douglas had to start his own homeschooling program. Karl Marx was a revolutionist. He wanted to tear everything up, including the Constitution. Douglas was a reformer. Let's keep the best that we have, including the Constitution, and make things better. And so you see this two worldviews that come to clash in this book. Douglas wins not because I set it up that way, because truth rises to the top. And Douglas had the right position. Most Americans don't have this information about Douglas. And when you have that, you can change hearts and minds. And you can change how people vote by challenging them and encouraging them to vote their values.
I think we've got several things to do. We're going to have you come speak at our new idea, if you will. And then we need to film like a full-length podcast and really go into a lot of these subjects I think are so important. And then everybody needs to go
to your website.
Where can they order
I'll say
the
come
book?
to the website. Don't go to Amazon and give Bezos any more money.
Okay. So
no problem.
What is your website?
Let me give it to you. So it's FDR, Frank Delta Romeo, FDR store .company.site. Now, this is the first edition. Now, the book's only been out like 4 months. I had to write a second edition to the book.
Wow.
So when you come,
this is like a dialogue. This is interesting.
It's a dialogue. It's like Aesop's fables. Remember that?
Yes.
Going back and forth. So when you read the book, it's not me giving commentary. You're actually sitting there and you're reading the debate, Douglas and Marx going one after each other, turn for turn. And so at the end of every debate, there is a reflection, the moral of the story or the moral of the debate, talking points. Now, these are talking points that you can use based on that subject to help you better articulate and change hearts and minds that Marx is at your dinner table.
This is so good. Okay, dialogue number 8. Open borders and immigration, DEI programs, separation of church and state, race and identity, keep and bear arms. I love the way you've done this.
The beautiful thing about Douglas, a lot of folks don't know. A lot of folks don't know that Douglas was a powerful intellectual thinker. All the things that Karl Marx is known as a philosopher, Douglas was a philosopher. All the claims of Marxism, Douglas wrote and spoke about them. That's why it was easy to put this together. I didn't have to go create anything. I know Douglas well. I've been reading and studying Douglas for the past 13, 15 years. I had to go back and do some reading on Karl Marx. That wasn't that difficult either. But the point I want to make is when you put Douglas and Karl Marx in the same room and they're going back and forth, turn for turn, it comes crystal clear that liberty is the answer, not socialism, not government dependency. Because when you look at Douglas's life, Douglas's life refutes the major argument of CRT and DEI. He didn't have the government to take care of him.
Now you're meddling.
Why are you not leveraging Douglas? This is, and he was a self-proclaimed Republican.
Oh,
he's the reason why the Republican Party
now
was
you're in
started.
trouble.
Yeah. We have so much to talk about.
I stay in trouble.
That's what I'm guessing.
Okay, long form. We'll
Yeah,
get the
we're
book,
gonna
read
do
it,
this.
and then we'll do long form.
Book club
Okay,
with Kate
done.
Carl.
Starting now.
Thank
All right.
you so much.
Oh, I enjoy it.
We will maybe put the website, if you'll write it down, we can put it up on our ticker or something, or put it up so people can see it, because that's lots of like dots.
I
and
apologize for that.
No, it's
No,
good. It's good. I'm with you. Don't go to Amazon. But thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thanks for that.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more news.
Why it doesn't. And what have I set up that I think this is more important? The kindness. Like if kindness is your idol, it has to be done in a certain way. You know, like my 15-year-old will tell me, well, if you'd have said it nicely. I'm like, child, nice was the first 62,000 times I've said it to you. You are no longer getting nice. And she's like, but you lose the argument, Mom, when you raise your voice. And I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be horrible for me. I'm Italian. I'm like, but that's what we've got to do is we've got to learn how to hold our space without getting angry, without elevating. Because for me, volume doesn't mean I'm angry. Volume just means I'm passionate. But this generation doesn't understand anger and passion. That's why we've got a lot of discord around people getting involved in things they should not be involved in, getting in the way of ICE. And like I have that conversation almost on a daily basis with my 26 to 15-year-old children, how important it is for them to understand they're not protecting these people. They're getting in the way of law and order. And it's a hard concept for them because the social-minded, emotional generation that they're in thinks we have to protect these people. I'm like, who are you protecting? You know, and we have to have those conversations. Yeah.
So do you think then on and still staying with the how and the why, do you think that we're here because of all the concentration of social emotional learning in school without those concrete logical things that we learned? We learned how to think logically. We learned how to think critically, and then it just kind of evaporated. Because it seems to me that from all of the emphasis on social emotional learning, we also have then that spike in 20%? I had the 20-ish% of 18 to or Gen Zs have increased and think they're identifying as LGBTQ. I mean, like these things that they're agreeing to or saying they believe in don't make any sense unless they were schooled and trained in all of the SEL techniques. Is that part of it?
It is definitely part of it. I think there's, it's not a silo. Nothing is happening, independent of the other. So you take that, you take this push towards tolerance, acceptance, and I don't mean that either one of those are wrong in theory, because they're not wrong in theory. But what it introduced is it's kind of like the law of unintended consequences. I wanted to do this, but it also did this. And so that unintended consequence was we muddied a lot of waters. And as we started teaching it younger and younger and younger, these children don't have the structure and the framework in their brain yet to feel safe when we discuss these topics. So that's why we've got so much anxiety in these kids, is because they're handling topics that we as adults struggle to deal with, but we're giving it to them younger and younger and younger. And like my 15-year-old said the other day, well, is he heterosexual because that's all he's ever tried? Or did he try the other and decide he's heterosexual? And I was like, why would you have to try something to decide that is not who you are? And she was like, well, it's an option now. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
It's always been an option. My response to her, it's always been an option. Going outside of what God has made has always been an option. But it's where do you draw your line of, I don't need to try that to know this isn't right. And she was like, well, I just think that's important that people try things. And I was like, oh, okay. Yes. Christian home.
Yep.
And she's still being influenced at 15 by this culture that she's in because she's soaked in it. And she's got a phone in her pocket that lets her Google anything she wants, TikTok anything she wants.
But that's a good point about the schools. I wrote down schools, parents, politicians, social media. I remember we did a talk about SEL and things going on in schools probably 3 or 4 years ago. And there was an example of, like you said, tolerance and acceptance on face value is not bad. But this was about allyship. If y'all remember, that was a big buzzword for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was talking to elementary school kids about being allies with people in their class. And the example was, are you really being an ally and a supporter of your friend when he thinks she's a she? This is elementary school, and wants to come into the bathroom with you. No, you're not. You're not supporting them. So to be a good person, this is what our school, this is in Birmingham. To be a good person, you have to deny yourself, deny your uncomfortable feelings, and allow that boy to come into the bathroom. And so our kids are being just bombarded with that. But it is such a remarkable line. Like I look at my kids sometimes like they're aliens. It's very weird. I'm like, where did you come from?
It makes no sense. Yes.
Okay, so we're not the only ones that feel this way.
Oh, no. I had a personal experience with my now 15-year-old when she was in 6th grade. I'm sure I've told Amy Beth about this. She was not good at getting into her locker, as most 6th graders are not. So she just carried everything in a backpack. Well, she was confronted in the hall one day by a girl who apparently had been slipping notes in her locker saying that she liked my child. And my child was like, what? And she did that whole thing where she said, are you anti-gay? Do you not like me? Do you, what's the problem? And Madison was like, well, I didn't know. And so she went to the guidance counselor and she asked the guidance counselor at her middle school, what do I do? And she said, well, what would your response be if it was a boy who said that? And she said, well, I would say that I'm not old enough to date and that I don't like you that way. And so she told the girl that. And the girl proceeded to tell the entire school that she was gay and that she wasn't an ally. So she got it from both ends. So now all the straight kids didn't want to sit with my child and all the gay kids didn't want to sit with my child. So my child was eating lunch in the bathroom under what the school counselors are taught to do. No shade at them. That is what they're being taught to do, is handle it as if it was either way. My child was barely 12 years old. She was not ready for that conversation. She was not ready to eat lunch in the bathroom. And she comes home, and of course, she's got anxiety. And I was like, yes, you do, babe. Because your brain cannot hold the mantle that is being placed on your shoulders in middle school. These are decisions that we do not need to be talking to 6th graders about. I mean, a crush is a crush. But when it comes, as Ben Franklin says, your right to extend your finger stops when it hits my nose. That's where that child's right stopped. But she was confronted in front of, the whole, and it spreads like wildfire now that they've all got it. It's not just you're going to get bullied at school. It's on social media. It's Snapchat. It's, all the things. So it's rough. And yes, it's not just one school. It's everywhere. The way they're being trained is definitely inclusive of all, whatever all is.
Do you think some of these kids, and I'm sorry, I keep asking questions, but I guess that's
that
the
makes
point.
me happy.
That's the point.
I knew
Okay.
you would.
Do you think that these kids, like talking about specifically the LGBTQ plus XYZ, whatever, I can't even keep up, 2S, some spirit, something other. It's weird.
I mean,
Do you think some of the kids that identify as this are the ones, because what's worse as a middle schooler than being singled out and bullied and a bullseye on your back? So do you think some of them, it's easier just to go along and play along than to stand out, and they're getting kind of pushed into these crowds of LGBTQ because at the end, that's who probably will accept them.
And that's the word it comes back to, is who is the most accepting?
Yeah.
And right now, as Christians, we are not doing a really great job of inviting them.
Welcome back. We know that you enjoyed our conversation with K. Carl Smith. Frederick Douglass Republicans were ordering his book today. We're going to get him back to do a long form podcast and then see what his schedule looked like to do a Penny University with him. So things are happening, but how encouraging and inspiring was that combo? Allison's looking for
Well,
you.
and all the moving around.
There's so much
I
moving
couldn't figure out
around.
why I couldn't hear you. I was like, sounds like she's in the other room.
She's talking, but what?
Oh, I have no headphones. It just is such a good conversation, and I appreciate people, like I said, that can have a conversation about black and white and America and Republican and Democrat and just have a conversation where you can ask the questions. Nobody gets offended, and we all walk away friends, you know, and everybody has good intentions. And the intention is to move forward. And I think, you know, his point about the maps, you know, is something to be discussed. But at the end of the day, we're all on the same page, moving forward together. And that book, I wish I could have held it up and y'all could see it. The way he's done it is genius. It's literally, you know, it says Marx and then like a quote or something he would say, and then Douglas. And it's a back and forth on all these subjects and their views. And it will be extremely powerful and easy to read.
Easy to read. And like he said, the truth always rises to the top. And that's what's happening in hearts and minds across the country. And I am thrilled. Just think the world of K. Carl. Okay, so we have some news to get to, and then we have hot flash news, and then we're done, which is crazy because this week it feels like this, just like that. But the news is this. What do you think about Iran, Project Freedom? Let's talk about that for a minute. Thoughts?
So here's the latest. So
Yeah, I'm confused. And
So-
please tell me what Project Freedom is again.
we talked yesterday, Rubio acting as press secretary, pretty much said that Operation Epic Fury is over. Project Freedom is now in act, Operation Epic Fury was obviously the war with Iran, the offensive war with Iran. Project Freedom was the project we started to escort ships through the strait
Okay.
to try, because we had blockaded Iran's blockade, but Iran was still effectively wreaking havoc on the strait and attacking ships and still having an effect. So Project Freedom was us going to forcefully escort ships through the strait to try to counter Iran's effectiveness of closing the strait. So that was announced yesterday. Today, or it was either earlier this morning or late yesterday. I think it was late yesterday. Trump said Operation or Project Freedom is now paused due to requests from Pakistan and from others. We're working on a deal, and they've asked us to pause Project Freedom as we're working through a deal. And now Fox News is reporting that we may be nearing a deal with Iran to end the war. This is the Kabesi letter. I'm not sure who this is, but they have put out that the U.S. and Iran are nearing a 14-point memorandum of understanding to end the war and set a framework for a more detailed nuclear deal. So I'm going to lay out some of the parts allegedly that are out there on this deal. The deal will include Iran committing to a moratorium on uranium enrichment, the U.S. lifting its sanctions and releasing billions in frozen Iranian funds, both sides lifting restrictions around transit through the Strait of Hormuz, a 12 to 15-year duration on Iran's moratorium on uranium enrichment, and an end to the war and the beginning of a 30-day negotiating period. So those are 5 points of a 14-point memorandum. So that's the latest.
You know what I appreciate? It's what you said, and I went back and Rubio's on fire, explaining why it's so difficult, why it's been so difficult even to get this memorandum. It's hilarious. It's difficult to negotiate diplomatically with Iran because an offer will be made, and then it takes 5 or 6 days to get a response because you have to get it through the whole system. They have to find the supreme leader wherever he hides. and then they have to get them to sign off and then back to us. Like, that makes sense, but you don't think about that either when we're trying to come to terms. It's that archaic. It really is.
So what's going to happen?
We're going to come to a deal. I just can't help but laugh when I read some of this stuff, and not to a T, obviously it's different, but it's just all of the pieces that Trump bashed for years about the JCPOA and the Iranian nuclear deal that Obama brokered. It's like, okay, I thought we weren't for giving the Iranians money. We're going to lift sanctions and give them billions in frozen funds, and a 12 to 15 year duration of a moratorium on uranium enrichment. Okay, we could call that a victory, but that's not. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, because at least that's what's out there. They're not being forced to give up their enriched uranium. I mean, they may, but I doubt that Iran's going to agree to a deal that involves that. And 12 to 15 years, you can pause. That's not forever. That's still giving them the open possibility to eventually doing something. And we're paying them. We're releasing billions of funds to Iran. So we're going to declare a victory that the Strait is open. When the Strait was open before the war, Iran can maybe do a nuclear weapon in 12 to 15 years, and we're giving them billions of dollars. And then that's going to be celebrated as the art of the deal, where it's just like the JCPOA, which was the Obama broker deal that pretty much gave them incentives and paid them money if they agreed and abided by the rules of uranium enrichment. And that was, oh, we're paying the Iranians. I'll just make it to where they can never do it again. And then we have this potential deal. It just seems like a complete, what was the point? And also there's reports, I don't know if this is true or not, but that Project Freedom was actually stopped or paused because when we tried to enforce and escort, one of our ships were hit by Iran. And then that's kind of why we paused it. But it's just the art of the deal.
The ship was not hit. I heard that was propaganda.
Yeah, I don't know. There's reports. I don't know if that's true or not. But regardless, it just seems like, I don't know. How are we going to declare victory from that? That's my thoughts, at least.
So I think, we will have to see. We should have handled this back in 1978. And you say things before a war or whatever this has happened, and then you deal with reality. So I think there's that. And we would be wise to remember, you say something before you actually know something and experience it. And I think that's what I have to remind myself. There's the pre-Iran situation, and then there's going to be the post-Iran situation. With the Strait, I think there's plenty of propaganda still coming out of both sides. So I don't know what to believe, just that it needs to be open, please, already. Please. And I am very interested in what happens with their supreme leader. I don't know how that gets resolved either, because you're still dealing with a regime that is mainly Islamic, and that's not great. So that's a part that infuriates me, that part. I thought we were for the people. What's going to happen with the people? We never talk about the people anymore. Yeah,
and
that disappeared.
That's the cherry on top. The regime is still in place.
I mean, he may be in a coma, he may be nearly dead, but he's still kicking.
And you can argue they're going to end up more radical through this.
No one knows. I just, this feels very different than, y'all remember when we came in the day after Venezuela and you were like, I'm going for Maduro. That's who I'm going to be for Halloween. Everybody's like, we're all fired up. Because they went in and they Tanya Harding the heck out of Venezuela. This feels very different. This feels kind of like, almost, I'm a little embarrassed. A little like, okay, why'd we do it? We want one, maybe. It doesn't feel like a win. It feels like maybe we're further behind.
And a
lot less rich.
And we can move on to hot flash news after this if you want. But I remember I woke up and I was like, it was one of the, I'm always proud to be an American, but like, wait, I went to bed and Maduro was intact. His regime was intact. And then I wake up and we kidnapped him in the middle of the night and just left with no casualties, nothing. And now he's in a prison. It's like, it was awesome. And it was thought out, strategic, and needed to happen. And it was one of the most effective operations I've ever seen. And then yeah, it's almost like the capital of deterrence may have left with I don't know. I think Trump was, I've said this before, but I think Trump was probably rightfully feeling himself after that. And maybe that was exploited to do this. And I don't know.
I do think, though, we keep forgetting they're an ancient country with an Eastern mind, and we're a Western mind, and we're never going to think the way that they do.
But don't you bring in the people that have the Eastern minds?
I think they have, and I think we're going to get on the other side of this
with you.
Yeah, I do think that we'll get on the other side of this and see who was in there with them, but we're not going to know that now. And so I also think that's the other part of it, is this is East versus West. And again, it feels like, ooh, but there's that part of it that all they do is fight, and we want instant, and we're excited. But what does that look like? I don't know. I think we're going to know far more on the other side of it. And I'm ready to get there, like done, like with finito. Let's please.
Is that Italian?
Yeah, that was a made up word.
I mean, she is
No,
Italian.
I think it might be Italian.
I think finito.
I'm pretty sure it is.
On purpose. Finito.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Hold on. My head bobs are.
Is it like trying to pull out of your ear, Bob?
Well,
Is it my fault? It probably is.
No.
I can't do hot flash news if my ears aren't in.
Okay. Because we have to do hot flash news.
We need to get cord
hot flash
covers.
news. Okay,
Oh wait, what?
So we need to get cord covers for over there.
Well, she only had one ear bob in, and so her other ear bob was hooked around my cord and kept pulling.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I want to start. Oh wait, we got to do K.
Excuse me.
Are we still gonna
That's
play
just
that
going out.
after Kay is gone, or do we need to make a Tuberville version of that?
Oh.
Or maybe we just keep it in memorial.
Depends on how well she goes out.
We're talking like she's about to die.
I meant like leaves office.
Yeah.
Yes.
How?
Depends
That's what
on
I
how
meant.
she goes out.
That's what I meant. Okay, JP, I want to start hot flash news for everybody in the back that missed the absolutely savage thing we did yesterday. You did while I had my sombrero on. So I missed the whole going down of the thing, and I just got the end result. So can you pull up? I'll kind of set it up. So yesterday after our interview, in about 36 seconds, AL.com had an article out about our interview with Steve Marshall.
Wait, how quickly?
36 seconds.
Okay, that's what I thought you said.
It was
I just
rather
wanna make
quick.
sure- Yeah, it was fast.
This is the headline from AL.com. The assumption that only a black person can represent a black voter or vice versa. We've shown in the Republican Party that is not the case, Marshall said. Steve Marshall, Alabama's black congressional districts would be better off with GOP. Okay. Well, quickly, about 36 seconds after that, Terry Sewell responds. She retweets the article. She says, bless his heart. Black voters don't need Steve Marshall to tell us what's best for us. We can think and vote for ourselves. And we are prepared to send a message to lawmakers in Montgomery who seek to diminish our voting power. We are not going back. Okay, then about 36 seconds after that, Steve Marshall reposts Representative Congresswoman Terry Sewell's comments and says, vote for ourselves is actually the best argument for ending discriminatory racial gerrymandering. So while I'm sombreroing it, JP and Abs and Grayson come up with this great idea. And this is what I leave the restaurant to.
Candidly, I think right now that the district that's represented by Democratic Congress members would probably be better off right now with some conservative voices being able to help their communities.
What?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
JP.
Y'all can't have
We
your
can't
iPad
see
over
it.
there.
Well, I watched
So
it enough,
good.
and I don't know. I hope people pulled it up and enlarged it so they could actually read, because it just was like this great moment. And what did you say, JP? You said Terry Sewell got marshaled.
I tagged her. I said, at Terry Sewell, you've just been marshaled.
JP, that was That was great.
I just, I just picture like all of the liberals losing their mind, and then I just envision, and y'all can't see it, but I just envision,
Candidly, I think right now,
I just envision the Joe Rogan losing his mind. Everybody is, all
That
the
was
liberals
funny.
are seething.
It's an absolute meltdown, but I'm here for it. And I just thought, look at Steve Marshall go.
Yeah,
It was good.
he's been killing it.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he was what, on Newsmax, and then he did our show. Like he like everywhere I turn, he's somewhere else. It's unbelievable. We're so glad he came on our show.
I don't think he sleeps.
He must
not right now.
He must not sleep. I think his wife probably drives him all the places that he's got to be.
You know, it's funny, and we talked about this. I actually think he's having a little surge in the polls, little bump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting.
The timing, May 19th. Here we go. Have y'all seen that? This is funny. The DOJ sues Denver for its AR-15 ban that's been in effect for 37 years.
I'm here for that.
No, I did not.
That's kind of huge.
That is
Huge.
Although people that are high may not want to shoot the ARs.
That sounds really fun, actually.
I just want to invite them over. Let's order some takeout. Let's chill.
Yeah, but you forget all the like. Are they like Portland yet, where you can do meth and cocaine?
No.
Oh, it's so
I don't
awful over
think
there.
I don't think Denver's quite there yet. They could be, but
It's such a beautiful city,
Oh, I
and yet
love
it
Denver.
stinks like weed. It just stinks.
Denver is one of my favorite cities. It is so
Love
cool.
Denver.
So cool.
Just smelly. Note to Montgomery. Did y'all see that Indiana, all the Republicans in the state legislature that refused to redistrict and draw maps lost?
Yep.
Like it was
last night?
Like a bloodbath of like unbelievable.
Oh, that's the primary bloodbath. That's how not to be put it. The Indiana Republicans who refused to redistrict their map are now unemployed.
Okay, bye, Felicia.
Note to Montgomery.
Yeah. And just one quick, the other aspect of it, and Morgan Murphy talked about it. We debate the weight of a Trump endorsement, and it varies from state to state, obviously. But I think all but one of Trump's Trump endorsed candidates won in Indiana last night. So,
y'all, I don't think we talked about this story, and I can't believe that this is actually a headline, but it needs to be put out there. The FedEx driver that kidnapped the little girl and raped and strangled her. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I do.
Okay, he's sentenced to death. Is that really news? Like, shouldn't we all just assume that?
Yeah.
Is it wrong for me when I heard the story and I heard that they had to listen to the murder in the courtroom?
What?
Yes, they listened to it as it they played it for the jury. Apparently, they wept, obviously. And if you've got proof like that, can you not just take him out back and go ahead and firing squad his ass
Publicly.
I like this abs. I like
That's
it.
the other half of abs. Sister abs.
It's her version of Bon Qui Qui. Just take him out.
Yeah,
I mean,
take
that
him
rolled
out
right
back.
off the tongue. Fine squad his ass.
Wait, is that what you chose for your
Yes.
execution style?
Yes. Firing squad. But when you have a situation like that, this would deter crime. If you have irrefutable evidence,
Yeah.
take them out back. They should not live 5 more minutes. You raped and strangled a little girl to death. Why are you taking up our air today?
And do it in the town square.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where would the town square be? Like, I about said Neyland Stadium. That was a long time ago, Sinclair.
That was a long time ago.
Legion Field.
I mean, you could even just do it like on the corner of a street and everybody buy a ticket. Stand around.
Hey, outside the courthouse. Like,
Oh, there you go.
straight out in front of the courthouse, just go ahead, have the gallows, have the whatever your method is. And I think they do have, maybe that state has firing squad, but whatever it is, do it immediately. That's our problem, is we do not feel the weight of the hideous crimes and they get to live for years while the families suffer. That's not right.
All right, we're running to the end. Go
Oh,
ahead,
I'm
Sinclair.
sorry.
I'll save it.
No,
Maybe
no,
we'll
no,
do
no.
the 3.
No,
No,
no, no,
I just
Say
this is a deeper conversation. Did y'all see JD Vance endorse Vivek? And I'm curious if you all have different thoughts. We can get into that some other time. But when I met Vivek here in Birmingham a few years ago, loved him. He was awesome. But now I'm kind of starting to see, like, is this really what we want? And people are coming at JD Vance, for his endorsement. I don't know. We can talk about that later.
Y'all, in the
What?
in the primary, I was such a Vivek guy because he was saying all the right things,
He
and then he
was.
came more and more and more of
Yeah.
not much of a Vivek guy anymore. But
It's a good discussion. Well, we'll be back here tomorrow. Do we want to tell him what's happening tomorrow?
Sure.
We are going to have Joey Clark, the Joey Clark, on, and we will have Congressman Robert Adderholt on tomorrow as well. So you don't want to miss it. We'll see y'all. Make good choices and stay on the right side. We'll see you tomorrow.